I feel like I've taken a trip back in time. Sunday in the park with families all together, no technology in sight, kids are playing with balls and little toys, and grandparents are buying ice cream for the family. It's such a wonderful feeling. Stay with us as we share these experiences of our time in Antigua, Guatemala on this episode of Stories, Faces, Places.
Connecting the world one person at a time, experiencing a constant variety of life, feeling an inspiration that comes from unforeseen places. This is Stories, Faces, Places with Al and Laura. Who'd have thunk Antigua, Guatemala would be like this?
Oh, this place, from the minute we drove in to Antigua, I felt this calm, family, wholesome atmosphere. And let me describe where Antigua is. Antigua is about 45 minutes drive outside of Guatemala City, Guatemala. And it's this little town set like in a valley, I want to say, with 3 volcanoes surrounding it and mountains. So it's a beautiful setting to begin with. And the weather is incredible. It's always spring-like. As a matter of fact, I think the nickname for the city, I think Guatemala itself is Eternal Spring, because it's just always beautiful, dry, cool air.
Because of its altitude.
Yeah.
It's high. It's up in the mountains a little bit here.
Yeah, I love it.
But the weather was perfect.
All right, well, I have to describe what this town looks like.
Yeah,
so,
give me the physical description of the buildings.
Yeah, well, I found this very, very interesting, this little town, because as we drove in, we noticed that all of the buildings are just 1 story tall. I don't think, except for the cathedrals and some of the government office buildings, and I hate to even call office buildings, they're all very old, nothing was more than 1 story, and they all have the clay tile roofs, and the walls were a different color, painted different colors. But what I found interesting was, like I said, as we drove in, it just seemed like all I was looking at was walls. And there would be windows with decorative bars where the bars would kind of stick out about a foot from the wall and around the window that would also kind of
They were like security bars.
Yeah, but they were a little bit decorative. But I thought, I don't see any windows into restaurants or windows into shops. And I just thought, wow, it's just all I'm seeing is wall. Well, what was extremely interesting was once we were walking around, we'd pass a doorway, and you'd look in the doorway, and it would open up into huge courtyards where maybe there was a restaurant or
shops.
Or a shop.
Yeah.
But so at night, they would be able to shut the big door, I'd say, a big wooden door, into that covered the main door, and then everything was very secure. And I believe it had to be built this way a long, long, long time ago for
Probably.
Security's sake. And so often you'd have these inner courtyards with maybe a home or what now has become a hotel or a hostel. And it was amazing what was sort of inside behind the walls.
Yes.
And so,
well, like inside our hotel, the walls go right up to the very edge of the street. Mm-hmm. There's about a 3-foot sidewalk at most.
Best, yeah,
at most. Mm-hmm. And so then you walk into our hotel, which was 1-story hotel, and all inside the hotel are all the rooms and the pool, but not enclosed, just in the outside courtyard. There's trees growing.
It was to me magnificent when you walked in through the doorways. What sort of opened up to you? It was like a whole other world behind these walls and behind the doors. So that I found extremely fascinating because it was just so different on the inside from what you saw on the outside.
So tell me about the roads.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. Because you mentioned the sidewalks were maybe only a couple of feet wide. These roads, when you say cobblestone, they gave a whole new meaning to a cobblestone road.
Well, there's certainly some distance between each stone.
And these were actual stones.
Yeah, which make for a bumpity-bump ride.
Oh, yeah. These were not... So oftentimes we describe a brick-paved road as a cobblestone road. No. These were rocks that were placed to make a road, placed together, but not close together, like you said, and maybe held together. What was this? Maybe mortar. I'm not sure what, but it was a bumpity. And it was hard to walk on, actually.
Yeah, the walking was very tough.
No high heels. No high heels in this town.
In that town. But describe the whole setting here. We're in the main square of Antigua. They have a band playing on the steps of their city hall, if you will. On the other side is the main cathedral, and on the other side of the park is shops and restaurants, and then there's this big park in the middle where there's a fountain and people are milling about.
It's
and
like a movie set. It truly is like a movie set.
Almost a little like the Truman Show, a little bit. I mean, there was a guy selling balloons there, like you saw.
I felt like I went back in time.
The dragon guy selling his dragons.
Well, little homemade toys is what they were. These little dragons. They were made out of foam.
And the kids were buying them.
Oh, and he was probably charging a quarter.
Yeah, but I'm thinking kids in America would have looked at that and thrown it away. Give me an iPhone, they would have said.
Absolutely.
Kids were kicking balls around.
Yes.
They weren't playing with their iPhones.
And what I found...
Maybe, and someone might make the argument, well, they couldn't afford an iPhone, but I got to tell you, no, I think they could afford an iPhone.
Well,
I think because we saw some people with iPhones there. It's just, that was the time where they weren't.
Exactly. This was Sunday in the park, and we observed this on many days, but Sunday in the park seemed extra special because the whole extended families were together. You can tell that cousins, aunts, uncles, whatever, huge families, and they'd sit and just enjoy each other's company. And like you said, the kids were happy playing with simple homemade type toys that were being sold by vendors.
Well, that dragon guy, for example, okay, he made these dragons out of foam. Mm-hmm. Just out of foam.
And put it on like a wire.
Cut them out so that they had a head, they had a body, they had a tail, they had some legs. Then he drew with a black magic marker the eyes on it and the back fin on it. So it kind of looked like, he put some teeth on it. It looked like a little dragon.
And put it on a wire, so it actually, when you held it, it looked like it was dancing around. Yeah. It was almost like a little puppet. And I know he was selling it. And you
could walk your dragon.
Right. And the kids were ecstatic when the parents were buying the little dragon for the child. And I just truly had not witnessed a scene like this, and I don't think ever, actually, in the U.S., because it was so wholesome feeling.
Yeah, and some of the Guatemalan ladies were selling their homemade scarves and wares and not so homemade jewelry too. Right.
Yeah. There's still there. So many people were selling you things there, but
the ice cream man was selling his hallados.
Yeah, probably. I think for like $1. I mean, it was truly.
And the band's playing in the background.
And the band was playing. Some people were dancing, and this whole scene, like you said, there were balloons. Oh, there were guys selling cotton candy and. It just, and I got this feeling that we're talking about, this wholesome kind of step back in time feeling throughout our time in Antigua. I felt that there.
Well, and I went over and I started chatting with 3 Dominican nuns, and then later on you were standing there, and a young boy and his dad came up to you, and the boy said, "Can you practice English with me?" Mm-hmm.
And that was so, and his father didn't speak any English, but you can tell he really wanted his son to practice, and the boy wanted to practice the English because they probably knew that he'll have better opportunities if he learned a second language or learned English. So I stood there and practiced English with him.
Yeah, I had my doubts.
Yes, you did.
In fact, should I roll the clip of my doubts as it was happening live right there? I was filming you.
Yes.
And we'll roll the audio.
Bring us there together.
All right. Laura's over here speaking English to this young boy. Dad is standing next to him, and I don't know who that is videoing on the other side, but somebody's videoing the other side. So I'm not certain if she's going to be fleeced for some money here, or if this is a legit kid who just basically came up to her and said, "Will you speak English to me so I can learn how to speak English?" So stay tuned, and we'll let you know if this turns into a fleecing.
Looking for money at the end.
Well, was it going to turn into a fleecing?
I don't know.
Was it going to turn into a fleecing?
I don't think so. I think his dad
Really?
just wanted him to practice. I really do. I think his dad just wanted him to practice.
I'm not so sure. But at least you walked away with all your change.
Yeah.
And that was a good thing. I was keeping my distance because I was erring on the side of fleecing.
No,
A new fleecing.
I don't think so.
You know, because he saw you were a sucker for a cute kid.
No, I think the kid just really wanted to practice. He seemed very innocent and sweet. Just wanted to practice his.
But why did he ask you to sit down?
I think he was just, again, trying to practice his words.
Uh-huh.
I really do.
Uh-huh.
He said, because there was no places to sit anyway on the bench.
Uh-huh.
That's when I said, I was waiting for him to ask for money.
I think he was trying to get there.
I think, he's like, would you like to take a video of us?
Who was the, yeah, would you like a video of us? Yeah. Okay, a few dollars now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I took it from a distance.
Yeah.
Where's the, his friend? His friend was videoing you.
I know. I think he was just practicing English. The friend wanted to practice too.
Uh-huh.
I really do. I'm more trusting than you.
Yeah, I've been fleeced more times than you. That's all.
No, gracias. Elle, you're always so mistrusting of people's intentions. I think the young boy did just want to practice English, and he was very, very sweet.
Well, you could be right. You
Yeah.
could be right. But as I said in the video, I've been had way more times than you have.
Well, oftentimes when we're traveling, we've had experiences where it starts off feeling very innocent, an innocent question by somebody who comes up to us or something, and then really what it turns out is they're asking for money. But I don't think that was the case in this instance. So I'm glad I spent a little time talking to this father and son. Coming to the market in Antigua, just opening up. Everything's hustling and bustling. I can't wait to get inside.
Okay, I have no idea if I got screwed or not, but they're bananas.
And it wasn't that much money.
It wasn't that much money.
It was less than $1, right?
I think it was.
Less than $1.
It was. So what is one quintete Guatemalan money? One quintete is I can't say it.
Well, $7.50 is $1 American dollar.
Okay, so it just cost me eight of them. 8 of their dollars. So this was
it was just a tiny bit over $1.
Like $1.10.
For like how many bananas? A dozen?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
You know, I finally had bananas that tasted like bananas.
Homegrown?
Those ones that I bought there in the market there, they were obviously ripened more on the tree than the ones we get in the stores, the grocery stores. And they tasted like bananas. In fact, I had to eat them pretty fast because within a few days they were gone.
They went bad quickly, right? Because they were, if you want to talk about organic,
yeah,
I doubt that they were grown with pesticides and everything.
Yeah, I don't think they were grown with much. Yeah, exactly. But you know, the thing in that whole market, that was probably one of the best markets that I've ever been in. And we've traveled around and we've seen a lot of different markets. That was big. It was loaded with fresh foods, fish and meats and all kinds of vegetables and fruit, everything. But the thing that kind of stole my heart in that whole market was the families that were working together at each one of the what do you call them, the stations there.
Yeah.
And the little girl who was walking around outside with the little basket on her head, trying to sell something. She couldn't have been 6 years old, 7 years old.
She was precious.
Wasn't she?
Well, you know, that's another thing to mention that I found just so enjoyable to see is that the women in Guatemala still dress, especially in this area, but I kind of saw it throughout Guatemala, they dress in their traditional dress. very colorful, hand embroidered blouses with the wrap skirt, and very, very